Hi, Sayu Rinpoche here. This time, we're going to take a look at the 7 archaeological sites in Athens, Greece. While each and every one of them is historically important, not just in Greek history, but also has profound impacts on Western civilization. Some of the sites will be more interesting than others for ordinary tourists who may not be history buffs. Please note that as of 2025, the combo ticket that gives visitors access to all 7 sites has been discontinued, which means that now you need to buy individual tickets to each site until further notice or changes. Therefore, which archaeological sites you want to include in your itinerary is now more relevant than ever, as you don't want to pay and see the sites that do not really interest you. This review is here to help you with that. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be confident to choose the archaeological sites you would like to visit for your Athens trip. Let's first start with the most famous and iconic of them all, the Acropolis of Athens. This enduring symbol of Greece itself can be a draw for travelers from all over the world. The Acropolis is consisted of several important structures, including Erechtheion, a temple dedicated to both Poseidon and Athena, who competed over the naming rights of Athens. Proplyaea, the gateway to the Acropolis, the Temple of Athena Nike, Theater of Dionysus, which is the ruin of an ancient Greek theater, the Odeon of Herodes Atticus, which is a theater built in the Roman era and is still in use today for some live performances, and the Parthenon, the most famous ancient Greek temple in the world. Because the Acropolis is on high ground, you can enjoy great views of Athens from there as well. Please note that there aren't a lot of shades inside the Acropolis site, so I recommend visiting it either first thing in the morning or right before closing time to avoid both the heat and the crowd during summer month. People say a trip to Athens is incomplete without visiting the Acropolis. I totally agree with that statement. Therefore, the Acropolis of Athens is definitely 100% a must-see. For the rest of the 6 archaeological sites, I'm going to introduce them in an order from what I think to be the most skippable to what I recommend the most. I'm starting with Aristotle's Lyceum. This is the site of the philosophy school founded by the great Aristotle in year 334 BC. It was abandoned some 248 years later in year 86 BC and was not rediscovered until year 1996, right underneath an ordinary urban park. The site today still feels like an urban park, except you have to pay to go in. The archaeological site was mostly consisted of old building foundations. So, unless you're really interested in witnessing an important site in Western philosophy, I don't think there's much to see for average tourists. If the combo ticket is still in effect, which means you don't have to pay the admission ticket separately, and I happen to be in the area, I would probably go in and take a look. And that was exactly what I did. Otherwise, I think the Lyceum of Aristotle is skippable. Next up, let's talk about the Temple of Olympian Zeus. The temple was dedicated to Zeus, the king of Greek gods. This structure was envisioned to be the greatest temple in ancient Greece, and the timeline of the construction spanned some 600 years. By the time the temple was finally completed, Greece had already become a part of the Roman Empire. Today, nothing much left, except some of the giant columns. And that's it. You can see the giant columns from many different parts of Athens. And personally, I think the best place to see them is from the top of the Acropolis. While I think the remaining columns of the temple are indeed amazing to see, it doesn't really justify you paying extra money to enter the archaeological site to see, well, the exact same things you just saw over the fence. So, unless you really want to take a closer look at the columns, I wouldn't pay to go in. For me, seeing what's left of the temple of Olympian Zeus from the Acropolis is good enough. The same goes with Hadrian's library, which was named after Roman Emperor Hadrian, who paid several visits to Athens during his reign and gave the completion of Temple of Olympian Zeus the final push after centuries of work. He also sponsored several other projects in Athens, including a giant library. Today, the library is in ruins, but the remaining columns continue to remind visitors how great it once was, the same way the columns that belong to the Temple of Olympian Zeus do. What else is in common? Well, you're also seeing pretty much the same things once you buy a ticket and go in, compared to what you see just over the fence. Again, unless you really want to have a closer look, seeing the ruins of Hadrian's library from the streets will simply do all the tricks. The next archaeological site will be a bit different. Yeah, you can also see most of it from over the fence, but I do think that it's worth paying for a closer look if your time in Athens is plenty. The Roman Agora was the central business district of Athens during the Roman Empire period. But today, nothing much left. However, what makes the Roman Agora different is that it has one intact building that I found to be very interesting: Tower of the Winds. It was used to indicate directions of winds and time to residents of Athens during the early Roman era. People of today still aren't exactly sure how this structure used to function, which shows that, well, some of human wisdom indeed got lost when the Roman Empire collapsed. Tower of the Winds is a great example of technological brilliance in the classical era that survived thousands of years of turbulence. Therefore, I think the structure and the Roman Agora will be well worth the visit if you have time and interests. Another archaeological site that I think might be worth a visit is Kerameikos. This district used to be the quarter of Athens for pottery making. It later turned into an Acropolis, where you can see what the Athenian tombstones were like over 2,000 years ago. This archaeological site also has a small museum that houses some of the best preserved original tombstones. I totally understand that this might not be something that interests everyone, so if you want to skip it, I get it. At the same time, it's also worth a visit for those who are interested in this kind of stuff. While I'm going to rate it worth a visit, it's also skippable to some extent, especially when you have other museums and sites in Athens you want to prioritize. Last but not least, let's talk about the Ancient Agora of Athens. Just like the Roman Agora, the Ancient Agora was the center of everyday life in the classical era of Greece, except it is far larger in scale and has more to offer. With the tour guide, the Ancient Agora gives visitors a peek into what life was like in Athens during the time of Socrates, Pericles, and when the city was the world's first democracy. Well, at least for the citizens. Even if you don't plan to go with a tour guide, you can still see and appreciate structures on your own like the Stoa of Attilos, a reconstruction of what impressive buildings were like in ancient Greece, and the Temple of Hephaestus, one of the best preserved ancient Greek temples in the world. If you want to see one archaeological site that is not the Acropolis, definitely pick the Ancient Agora. I hope after watching this video, you have a better idea of what to expect for the 7 archaeological sites of Athens. If you have found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more contents like this, please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. Once again, thanks so much for watching. Ευχαριστώ, and I'll see you in the next video.